He is a man walking at the top of the food chain, and also an elegant demon. He is the ogre who has been recorded in film history. Hannibal was at this grand symphony concert. This bald opponent just made a small mistake, but it caused Uncle B.'s displeasure on the stage. Sure enough, after the symphony concert, that bald opponent disappeared. A few days later, Uncle Bar invites the best players from the band to come home as guests. Everyone praised Uncle B.'s craftsmanship endlessly. Some people are even more curious. What is this delicious barbecue made of? Without a doubt, it's the boiled meat. It's just that they don't know. After the dinner, Federal Agent Will found Uncle Bar. Uncle Bar is a top criminal psychology analyst, and also assisting Will in investigating a serial murder case. Will discovered the investigation direction that Uncle Bar has been guiding is incorrect. The killer took some of the victim's organs. It's not about having a medical background, or a habit of collecting organs, but for practical purposes. Regarding this, he wants to hear Uncle B's opinion. Uncle Bar, he found a breakthrough. Although I feel a bit unhappy in my heart, but it also gave Will great affirmation. Then he found an excuse to let him leave. Just as he went to pick up Will's coat, Will accidentally found a book on Uncle B's bookshelf. Open a cooking book and take a look. It actually marked the cooking method of calf pancreas on it. This made Will's spine instantly cool. Sweat burst, because the last victim lost their pancreas, but Will only now knows. The killer seems to be too late, just about to draw a gun, but was stabbed in the abdomen by Uncle Bar, then gradually losing resistance, falling down. When Uncle Bar planned how to eat him, unexpectedly Will easily grabbed the sword next to him, reverse thrust into Uncle's abdomen. Then he quickly pulled out his gun, repeated shooting, although both sides were severely injured, but none of them hurt the point. The serial murder case is now resolved. Hannibal was also sentenced to life imprisonment for this, locked up in a mental hospital, and after Will recovers, because of excessive mental pressure, choosing to retire. I didn't expect many years later, his old boss came to visit him. Recently, there has been an even more rampant serial massacre. The killer was named Tooth Fairy by them. He will commit murder every full moon night, and there are already 2 families who have suffered tragically. The old boss had no choice but to seek Will's help and go out to investigate. Will didn't want to agree, but when I saw that the victims were all happy families of 5, in the end, he agreed. He came to a victim's house. Both the master bedroom and the secondary bedroom are covered in bloodstains, abnormal horror, and there are traces of dragging corpses on the ground. All the mirrors in the house were also shattered. Based on the traces of the scene and the clues already available, Will suddenly had a flash of inspiration in his mind as he inferred the murderer's motive for the crime. Will thought of the doll at the victim's house. Look at these doll photos. Will infers that the killer dragged the victim's body together. It's to make the female protagonist's family members an audience when they invade her. But due to the victim's closed eyes, he put fragments of the mirror into the victim's eyes again, to make their eyes look more lifelike. What a pervert is this? After all, this is a premeditated plan to satisfy one's spiritual fantasies. But based on this alone, it's also difficult to locate the killer. The old boss wants to solve the case as soon as possible. He asked Will to visit his old friend, Uncle Bar. Uncle Bar didn't want to help this friend, who sent himself to a mental hospital. But hearing this case will be a challenge. And it aroused his interest. After reading the files, Uncle Bar only gave him one clue. The killer is likely a person with a flawed appearance. He chose the night of the full moon. It's for some kind of ceremony. Evolve yourself into the way you want to be. And is there an open space near the victim's home? Is the main factor in a killer's selection of targets. Sure enough, Will found a Chinese character mark on a tree near another victim's house. He took the photo and found Uncle Bar again. Uncle Bar said, the middle of this red tree is also known as the root of the Hongdong Hongshu tree. The bird is confined in a cage. The heavens are angry when they see it. This sentence seems to be referring to one's current situation. It seems to be implying something again. Of course, Uncle B's help to Will is also conditional. The condition this time is the opportunity to call the lawyer. But he didn't use this opportunity to call law. Yes, but I called Will's address, using the publisher's request to send a book to Will as an excuse. Easily obtained Will's home address. Will also found it on his end. What Uncle Bar said, from the book of Wu's Eyes Prophecy. And in this book there is an illustration. The illustration depicts a red dragon. He instantly understood. It turned out that the ceremony held by the killer was just imitating the red dragon to complete his own transformation. Meanwhile, there have also been new developments with the police. The cleaner found a letter in Uncle's toilet paper while cleaning, and this is very likely related to the Tooth Fairy. In order not to disturb the grass and startle the snake, they must restore the roll of paper before the cleaning work is completed. Sure enough, the letter is written by the Tooth Immortal to Uncle Bar. It is full of worship, Uncle Bar. But the most important line was destroyed by Uncle Bar. They restored the destroyed content through technical means. The content points to the upcoming recruitment notice and newspaper. The police decrypted a letter from Uncle Bar to the Tooth Fairy from the newspaper. It turned out to be Will's home address. He asked the Tooth Fairy to kill Will's family, to complete one's transformation. Fortunately, the police took the lead. Take Will's family to a safe place, but Will quickly responded. He asked a journalist to report on his insult to the Tooth Fairy. I thought this would lead the Tooth Fairy out, but the Tooth Fairy did not appear to retaliate against Will, but kidnapped the journalist. He glued both hands and feet of the reporter to the wheelchair, and showed him his red dragon tattoo, and then fiercely bit off the reporter's tongue, and ignite him, pushed to the entrance of the police station, declaring one's transformation unbreakable. Under helplessness, Will found Uncle Bar again. Uncle Bar told him, "Carefully watch the videos of the two victims, we can find clues." As an exchange, they arranged a sumptuous dinner for Uncle Bar. After repeatedly watching, Will finally saw the hint. The Tooth Fairy was recorded through the victim's home video. Understand the structure of the house to commit the crime. More importantly, both home videos are from the same imaging company. Someone who can have multiple exposure to two videotapes must be a staff member of the company, and the killer Yaxian is an employee of the company, suffering from exclusion due to appearance issues. Only one female colleague, because he's blind, not paying any attention to his appearance, and as a result the two have developed mutual affection, walking together. But it also sparked a battle between his two personalities, because the woman who had a relationship with him, to offer sacrifices to Wu, in order not to harm the girl, he resolutely chose to break up, because he found a better way. He came to the museum and found the authentic red dragon, then knocked the administrator unconscious. Tear up the authentic red dragon, swallow it into your stomach with a big mouthful. He thought this way he wouldn't hurt his girlfriend. Combined with red dragon, complete transformation, when he returns to the company looking for his girlfriend, but suddenly discovered who came to investigate. He didn't hesitate. Quick escape. Will also confirmed his identity from it. It's the Tooth Fairy. Yaxian went all the way to his girlfriend's house, but I found out my girlfriend was bringing another man home. In a fit of anger, he sent his rival back to the production team. Afterwards, he brought his girlfriend back to his residence in a daze. He is not willing to change himself for him, and he betrayed himself. Subsequently, he sprinkled gasoline all over the room, and ignited the house. He's planning to see off his girlfriend first. Send yourself away again. But he hesitated for a long time. But he shot himself. The panicked girlfriend escaped from the room, and the residence of the Tooth Fairy was also reduced to ashes in the explosion. Will walked into his inner world in the Tooth Fairy's notes. No one is born a devil. He suffered abuse from his parents since childhood, resulting in severe schizophrenia, just as everyone thinks in their girlfriend's oral statement that the Tooth Fairy has already self-settled. Unexpectedly, the forensic examination results made everyone feel a cold sweat. The body is not from the Tooth Fairy. At this point, the Tooth Fairy has infiltrated the Will family, took his son hostage. In haste, Will reprimanded his son in the tone of his Tooth Fairy grandmother. "I've never seen a dirty child like you before. You even wet your pants, you little beast. Do you want me to cut him off?" This move refers to the mulberry and the locust tree. As expected, the Tooth Fairy, who happened to be stimulated through Will's son aside, directly charged towards Will. When both sides are fighting, Will stabbed the Tooth Fairy's thigh with a knife, pulling my son quickly into another room. Then the two of them were shot, and injured in each other's shots across the door. In the end, the Tooth Fairy died under Will's whiff's gun, and Uncle Bar seems to have already anticipated the outcome. He wrote a letter to Will. It's missing, but Will has returned to life. Ignoring worldly matters, Uncle Bar was informed by the dean that a young and beautiful female detective wanted to see him. That's the end of the movie. Friends who like this series can like and follow us. Next, we will explain the silent lamp to everyone.